Hello, everyone. I know, give a few minutes for people to come in, but uh, hello. I hope those of you that are joining are having a good Thursday. I'm going to give it probably a good couple of minutes before we get started. So, give you guys a chance to come in. I just remembered I didn't, should have my music. I may do that for the next live. I don't think I did it for the last one either. I don't think I had music either for that one. So I may reincorporate some music into my lives when we get started. So, but I'm going to give it a couple of minutes. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. Also known as Friday Junior. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold, but we're going to have this conversation either way. And whether you catch it live or you catch it on the replay, so glad that you are able to catch it either way. Hopefully, the things we talk about will be of interest and you get something out of it. So my whole purpose for doing this is for you to get something out of the lives that I do. So gonna give it a couple minutes. We're just a couple minutes in. I'm probably gonna start at like the 5 minute mark. So the next time I'm gonna make myself a note that the next time that I do this, I have some music starting, so I can let you guys listen to that while we go through this. But I'm having a decent day today. I had a really good client day today. Had some things I had to get done and cover. I'm not quite at the end of my day. After I thought this call would be my last call of the day, but it's not. I've got a call that's coming up here right after this, so we'll be done within the hour definitely with this conversation, and then I'll be scooting over to my other call. So if you are on the live, go ahead and say hello in the chat, and also where you're watching from. That would be great to know. And then we'll go ahead and get the conversation started. I have one announcement, and then we'll get into the meat of the conversation today. So let's see. We'll give it. I'm gonna give it 5 minutes. Sometimes waiting, sometimes can be a little tedious, but particularly when you don't have music. Should have had my music. And also, I've got my. Obviously, I'm looking at you right now on the camera, but I've got my announcement up here. So if you see me look up, I'm looking there, and then I'm actually have my video where I can see myself actually over there. So if you see me looking around, it's because, yeah. Hey there. Great to see you. Thanks for joining from Arizona. Appreciate you. Let's see. We're almost at the point where we're going to give it just maybe one more minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. Like I said, I had a really good client day. I thought this was going to be the end of my day, but it's not. I've got one more client call after this. I have a call that's client that's out in California. So of course and Brett, you're in Arizona. So it's what, 3 o'clock? Yeah, about three, just coming like three, a little bit after 3 o'clock there. So yeah, their day hasn't ended yet. So as a result, my day hasn't ended because they are my client. So I have a call right after this. So we'll be done within the hour. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with the announcement first, and then I'm going to go into the conversation for tonight. So the announcement that I wanted to make, and you can see the ticker across the screen, is I am going to be conducting a PMP bootcamp class. So I wanted to make you guys aware that I'm going to try to share my screen here. Let's see if it'll let me do it. I'm doing a bootcamp class. It is happening. Let me go to my entire screen. We'll do this one and share. See if that comes up okay. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to be doing a PMP bootcamp class. So for those of you that are your PMP, you are a project management professional and you are looking to get your certification, this is your opportunity to register for this class. So it's going to be conducted March 23rd through the 29th. I wanted to make sure I made that announcement so you guys know I will be aware of that. The link to register is in the scroll across the screen, so you can grab that, or you can check my previous posts. I have a couple of posts that are pinned to the top of my LinkedIn, Okay. Um, yeah, 4 o'clock there. It's pinned to the top of my LinkedIn, so you can go check it out. What you're getting with the class when you register, you're obviously going to get the exam prep guide. You're also, and you're going to get a certificate of completion. That's like the basics. Everyone gets that. In addition, what you would also get for you to benefit after the class is you're going to get a 1 year PMI membership. You'll get that after day one of class. That day one, that PMI membership, that national membership, is going to get you a discount to taking the course, because PMI, there's a fee to sit for the exam. If you are a PMI member, you get a discount. So having that, getting that membership gifted to you during the class allows you to get that discount. Also, if you also get access to a 90-day exam simulator. It's PMI Study Hall. For those of you that, some of you may be aware of it, some of you may have used it before. I've heard people have great success with it. It's basically an exam simulator that allows you to take questions of the day. You can take mini practice exams. You can take full practice exams. Very, very helpful in getting you ready for the exam after you take my education, after you develop your study plan. Great idea for you to use that as your daily testing to get you ready for the types of questions you will see on the PMP exam. So if you purchase that PMI simulator within 30 days of class, you get reimbursed for it, so you get it for free. So the class is, like I said, Sunday to Saturday, March 23rd to the 29th. Sunday to Friday, it is from 4:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So it is going to be an evening class, virtual through Zoom. And then Saturday, the final class is from noon to 5 p.m. You will have opportunities to take practice questions while we're in the class. So it'll be very interactive. The whole goal is for you to understand those basic concepts, and then for you to take that off into your study after you get your required 35 contact hours. And your certificate of completion will allow you to use that as proof when you go to apply for the exam. Okay, so I wanted to make that announcement. So hopefully those of you that are interested are ready for that 35 contact hour class, can sign up for that in March. Okay, now let's get into the conversation. Now, I was excited to have this conversation. I was thinking about it, and I have my notes and things like that I'm gonna be working off of, and mainly be kind of talking off the dome piece here in terms of like what we're going to be discussing. But this is talking about soft skills that a project manager needs in this world of AI. Now, right now, with AI, there's varying levels, right? We're still on the cusp of all of this. It's still a little bit of a shiny new penny. Your company may be allowing you to use ChatGPT or Claude with some restrictions, or there may be other AI tools that you've started to implement within your work environments. Regardless of that, I've always said to friends, and I think I've said here a couple of times, that AI is not going to necessarily replace your job, but you do need to be aware that it's you need to be aware of it, need to be aware of how it operates, how it fits into your projects, and how it's going to affect your overall bottom line. And you also need to have soft skills. Still, those soft skills don't go away with the implementation of AI. They just don't. So we're going to talk about several of them. The moniker said 10 soft skills that every project manager should have in the world of AI. I'm going to just list the 10 so you know where we're going, and then I'm going to touch on all of them. I may touch on some more than others, but I want to give you the 10 first, and then I will talk about each one of them. And I may put this out actually in an infogram on my page later on after this live. So the 10 soft skills that I am talking about is collaborative leadership is one, communication, strategic thinking, problem solving. Number 5 is emotional intelligence. Next is decision making, ethical judgment, data literacy, adaptability, and number 10 is stakeholder engagement. Now, those are not in any particular order, okay? Because you may rank one at the top or first, second, or third, or what have you. They aren't in any particular order, but I do want to talk about each one of them and kind of give a little bit of conversation around it. Because as project managers, you are a people manager, whether even though those individuals are not your direct reports, you don't have direct reports. You still are a people manager. So in that environment, you need to be able to have a certain level of soft skills in order to move that project forward. Moving the project forward is not just about getting the job done. Okay. Um, you've got people that come with all of their things. You, as a project manager, come to that particular project with all of your stuff, right? So it's a good idea to be very self-aware of what is going on around you and have those soft skills in play. So let's talk about collaborative leadership a little bit. So collaborative leadership basically is the ability to guide teams effectively while using AI tools to streamline communication and knowledge sharing. Collaborative leadership exists with or without AI. You are that not only a collaborative leader, you're also a servant leader. And that's a PMI-ism that you might have read or heard in the PMI industry. But as a collaborative leader, you are there to help build the bridge to make sure that the project gets done, right? You're also there to help remove obstacles within a project, whether you are doing a predictive project where it's like a waterfall style, or whether you're working in an agile space where you have iterations and you have sprints, and at every 2 to 4 weeks you have to deliver a product or or a result to the client in some sort of demo. Whatever that is, collaborative leadership is important. And here's another thing I'll say about that. I really feel like project managers really need to know how to read a room. Okay, let's just say that you need to know how to read the room. When you're working in spaces, particularly when you're working with spaces where technology is involved, be aware of those people who are who take to that technology like a duck to water, and be aware of those people who are not, okay, who are struggling with it, and be able to have a plan of action on how you're going to address both, because one may take to it like a duck to water and you might have to manage them in one way, but that person who's struggling, maybe you need to pair them with someone who can help them, or maybe you are the person that needs to come in and help. If you are the person who struggles with AI as the project manager, you're going to have to really put yourself in a space where you don't want to let them see you sweat. And what I mean by that is that you cannot be the person with your hair on fire as the leader. Collaborative leadership means that there has to be somebody who's here. Okay. Everybody else may be all over here and doing all kinds of stuff, but somebody has to be that person that is the even keel, that is the voice of reason. That is the PM. That is you. So read the room when you have people that are struggling in those areas. You also, and I'll take this out of AI for a second. You also want to read the room in terms of who the alpha is. I don't know. I don't know if I got this from somebody or if I just made this up. But one of the things I do a lot when I am working with teams on a project is I am reading the room to determine who is the alpha. And what I mean by that, who is the person that their opinion sways the rest of the room. That person is not always the manager. Excuse me. That person is not always the nurse or the DON. I used to, in my former life before I went into business for myself, I implemented EHRs within hospitals and nursing homes and assisted living facilities, all that. So when I walked into a space, the alpha was not necessarily the director of nurses. It wasn't necessarily the charge nurse or the LPN. It might have been the CNA who has been in that role for umpteen number of years, very skilled, very respected. They may be the alpha in the room that when you are moving that project forward, when you're doing the work of the project and you then come to them with a demo, that person might be the person that their opinion is going to sway everybody. So, what do you do with that? In a collaborative leadership space, when we're talking about having that soft skill, you want to bring that person close to you. And what I mean by that is that you want to understand that person, get to know them a little bit, ask them some questions. Don't be so focused on the project work of the project that you don't hear all the ancillary conversations happening around you. Be nosy, okay? I call myself nosy. Well, okay, I'll say it this way. I stopped calling myself nosy. I call myself curious. I'm a very curious person by nature. So I'm listening to the ancillary conversations that are happening around in the room just to get information. Not that I'm going to call anybody out or say anything, but as in that collaborative leadership space, you want to look for the alpha in the room whose opinion, when they say it's going to sway the room, and it could sway it negatively or positively. You just want to bring that person closer to get to understand them, and just know, read the room just in general on how things are flowing. Hopefully, as a PM, you've done with your team a risk assessment, and you've got a risk list or an impediments log. And when you start to and you've assigned people to that, to those things, right? So when or if risks happen, you have a plan of attack. So collaborative leadership is that person that guides the team effectively. And effective has a lot to do with what you as the PM are observant of. Okay. You're not just focused on the work, you're focused on the people and how that work is getting done. Okay. All right. That's collaborative leadership. Next, another soft skill is communication. You want to over communicate. All right. A lot of times I come across individuals that when you have a good experience with maybe a colleague or somebody that you work with, like they are active communicators. Like you don't have to necessarily um, uh, prod them to provide you with a report. They always do it. A lot of times when you work in those environments, that's great if you have that, but not everybody is like that. You have to, again, kind of read the room a little bit. There might be that person that's on your team that is a great worker, does great work, but you have to direct them a little bit when it comes to providing you with information, or you have to over communicate to them so that they feel like they're being seen in the work that they do. Communication is clear and strategic. And you're communicating across the board. You're communicating with your stakeholders, you're communicating with your project team, you're communicating with your sponsor. You have to have the ability to communicate on all levels. A PM has to have the ability to communicate on all levels to all types of people. I see people as people, whether you are a C suite or whether you are someone who is on a different, is not a C suite, because I know there's hierarchies and things like that, but I see people as people, and I see people for what they do. So I am going to have the same level of respect and communication to all. I'm not going to have a higher level of communication to a C-suite than I do to someone who might be on the front line doing the work. I don't think that's fair. In my communication, it's clear, it's strategic, and it's respectful across the board. Now, with communication, AI can assist you because it can craft, depending on what you're using and how you're using it, it can craft messages, it can summarize meetings, it can generate reports, but that does not replace your level of communication as the PM. All right. If you're using AI to speak for you, it shouldn't speak for you. It should assist you in how you speak. Okay. That's a different perspective. Okay. So communication, very important. Strategic thinking. Now, in the world of AI, we have so many tools out there that can allow us to look at data and analyze data a lot faster. I mean, just with ChatGPT alone, you can drop a file in the ChatGPT and it'll summarize it for you, and you can ask it questions. But with asking it questions, you want that part is the efficient part. The next part of that is, how are you taking that data and aligning it with your project goals? How are you taking that data and making sure that it aligns with your the end goal of your project? All right. So strategic thinking is a soft skill that you don't want to allow AI to replace. AI can strategically think as well. I've started using Claude a lot more, because it can do like process maps, and it can do some really cool like technical things that ChatGPT can't do, right? But again, what's a process map if I can't explain it? What's a graph or a chart if I myself can't walk up to anyone, whether it's C-suite or anyone else, and explain how that graph or chart or process group or process map aligns with the project? Or explain if it's a burn down chart that got created with AI, I need to be able to explain what that burn down chart means. Are we on track or not? Or, oh, okay, are we on track or not? I mean, it's 6 o'clock, y'all. I'm real comfy, so I might use some slang. But seriously, strategic thinking involves using the data that you may have received through AI and taking it and being able to align it with project goals. Okay. So that's that one. All right. And if you have any questions, or if there are soft skills that I didn't mention in my top 10, let me know. Drop them in the chat and we'll discuss them. All right. Problem solving. Okay. Now, the thing that comes up for me with this when I say problem solving, I mean, it is the whole concept of tackling project challenges, having innovative solutions. What comes up for me with that is that as a project manager, you are likely not, how do I say this? You are likely not the expert, right? You're the project manager. You're driving the project forward, but you are not necessarily the expert on doing the work of the project. That's why you have a team, right? So what you need to do in this problem solving space is know how to ask the right questions. All right. So let's infuse AI into this. That's what we're putting them both together. So you use AI to help analyze a particular piece of data, or analyze data, offer potential solutions. The way I do it, and I'll just give you my technique, because I know I'm not the expert. I take it from the standpoint of the customer. I take it from that person who's on the outside looking in, and I ask questions that hopefully help lead and guide the team to a solution. So and then you have to kind of, again, read the room, okay? Because sometimes that works for your team, sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes problem solving for the PM is just stepping out of it and just letting the team self-organize and self-assess and come to you with the solution. And then you can ask questions with regards to that. But again, that soft skill of being a problem solver. As a PM, you are not just a figurehead that is just I don't know, bean counting, or you're not just the figurehead that's just there watching people do things. You have the bigger picture, right? You see the project from end to end. You're one of the few people that do. You see the project end to end, and the only other person, and you can fight me on this in the chat, you can tell me, the only other person I feel like that has the view end to end of the project is maybe the product owner when you're working in an agile space, because the product owner is the voice of the customer, and the product owner owns that backlog and is organizing that backlog from one sprint, one iteration to the next, right? So they're going to have that big picture feel and look too, but you also do, all right? Or you should. So having that big picture and getting into those problem solving things is important, because I'll give you a real life example from my former life. I implemented EHRs for hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living, et cetera, et cetera. As a PM, I had to understand and know that the way registration and scheduling was set up was important. It had to be set up correctly to the client's specs. All right. And if it wasn't, then we had to problem solve to figure out why. A lot of times when we got to testing, if something went wrong in billing, oftentimes it would had to do with registration. There was something in registration that wasn't quite right, or maybe it had something to do with the clinical side of it, where maybe some sort of diagnosis code wasn't added correctly. So when we got to the end, we had a problem. So knowing that you've got the bigger picture, your people, your group of experts, your team is going to be working on the stuff that they know and they got it. They're in their bag, right? And that's good. You want that. You want to praise that. I praised every expert on my project team because I needed them. Because without them, the project there would be no project. We would have to, quit, right? But with that being said, in the problem solving realm, you have that bigger picture. So you can ask pointed questions. Is there something, what happened over here? You bring those parties together, right? Because you're collaborative, you're the collaborative leadership person. So you're bringing people together and you're asking questions. What happened over here? Okay, what in registration does that affect? Nothing? Okay. What in clinical does that affect? So you're bringing all the parties together in order to tackle those challenges and get to a solution. And again, that goes with removing the obstacles, making sure that the obstacles are removed so that they can finish out what it is they need to finish. Okay. So that is problem solving. A few more. Emotional intelligence. So empathy, adaptability, the ability to navigate complex interpersonal dynamics. So AI can streamline tasks. Project managers must also balance um, technical solutions with people, right? So you're going to foster team morale and stakeholder trust. So having emotional intelligence is key. It kind of goes back a little bit to what I was talking about earlier about being able to read the room, having a level of emotional intelligence, seeing where there might need to be some flexibility because maybe you've got someone on your team who's resourced to your project, but they're also resourced to two other projects. So they're spread a little bit thin. So you may have to employ some sort of um, schedule adjustment, if you will, in order to lessen the load of someone else so that they can not be stressed out. All right. So that the job can still get done. So emotional intelligence has a lot to do with, again, having that people aspect as a part of yourself and understanding where people are um, in order to help people. Having AI, I think, with the whole idea of streamlining tasks, is helpful. So if you're utilizing AI to streamline tasks, that's great because a lot of times those team members that are utilized in or resourced in more than one space, streamlining tasks in that way with the use of AI can be of assistance. All right, but still, you as the person, you want to foster team morale, stakeholder trust. And when I said fostering team morale, here's a thing that you could do. And it's all dependent upon how your team is set up and um, how you deliver the results of your projects. One of the things I did, and I did this kind of sneakily, is I would ask the team, I would do like these mini icebreakers. And one of the icebreakers I did randomly was I asked my team what their favorite snack was. What is it that, you when you're sitting in front of the television, you like to binge watch? For me, it's Twix bars. Don't judge me. I love a good Twix bar right out of the freezer. So ask them what their favorite snack is. The reason I did that, again, in my former life, when I implemented EHRs, what I did was I would then at go live, because our go lives were set up to where we delivered, it was a hybrid. So we did agile, iterative in the beginning, but then at the end, we did some testing and things like that. And then we would have a go live where we delivered all of the product to the client. And we had like a 3-day go live, 3 to 5 day go live. First day of go live, when we all traveled, we all got to the hotel. I would bring everybody down to the lobby to have a quick meeting, and I would give them their favorite snack. I would have purchased it for them, give it in a little baggie, and it was a way to boost morale, to say, "Hey guys, we made it. We're here." And that's an emotional intelligence move, because you're appealing to their sweet tooth or whatever tooth they have, depending on their sweet or savory tooth, with that snack. But then also you're giving them a boost and say, "Hey guys, we did a great job. We're here at Go Live. We're ready. Here you can have this during the week to snack on, and maybe when you get back to the hotel." At the end of your day, but here's your favorite snack. Here's your popcorn. Here's your Twix bars. Here's your Oreos. Here's your, I'm trying to think, I'll think gummies. What was another thing that somebody what are those things, those Twizzlers, like, it ran the gamut. But I would purchase those so that my team would feel seen, they would feel appreciated. Okay, so use that. That's yours. You can have that. Let me know if you use it. Let me know if it works. All right, a couple of others I'm going to go through. Decision making, and I might decision making and ethical judgment. I'll put those two together. Making informed and timely decisions in alignment with organizations' goals, and ethical judgment, maintaining ethical standards and accountability in AI-driven environments. Now, so let me talk about ethical judgment for a second. You as the PM need to oversee AI outputs, okay? You and others, but I say you because you're the PM, you're driving this project forward. AI isn't perfect. Let me just say that. It's not. AI is not perfect. So if you know that someone is using AI, excuse me, to produce a result, you number one want to encourage your people to not accept that as gold first time out the gate. You want them to look at it, you want them to review it, and then you also want to as well, and then ask those pointed questions. Hey, does this match this, or does this go with that, or are we sure that this is in alignment with what the client is asking for? Is this too much? Are we gold plating this? Are we giving them too much? So you absolutely want to monitor those AI outputs and make that ethical judgment of where things might need to change. All right. And then decision making. Sometimes you need to make a decision that not everybody likes, right? But the decision needs to be made. You want to make informed and timely decisions. I had a situation, well, we ended up making a pretty good decision, but we had a situation where we had a pretty expensive piece of equipment fall off of a truck. If anybody watches this, that was part of that, will know exactly what I'm talking about. And we had to make some decisions on how we were going to move. And some of those decisions didn't feel really great. We still ended up going live on time. Okay. But a lot of times you have to make those decisions in alignment with the order goals. You need to go live. You have the situation. How do you handle it? So some AI tools that can help. There are some tools out there that deal with resource allocation, right? So because you might have a situation where you have something that's on your critical path, something that has to get done, but things are not moving as quickly as you need to. So you might need to allocate more resources. You might need to crash that particular part of your activities so that you can get things done, right? So that's a decision that you make in order to get yourself out of the risk of being late on delivery, right? That's a mitigation plan, all right? So decision making and ethical judgment are key. Data literacy. Now, understanding and leveraging data for project outcomes. So depending on the type of project you're on, this may or may not apply. But if you have a project that is very data driven and you're using AI to, maybe crunch that data, review that data, again, you may not be the full expert, but you need to have at least a high level cursory understanding of the data that needs to be utilized or input in order to make sure that it aligns with the outcomes. All right. Um, if you know that there is a data migration that has to happen for your project, you need to understand, again, that cursory high level idea of what all that data is, how it needs to look, and be able to ask pointed questions so that your team can make sure that the data is accurate and it's on point for where you need to go. Okay, so data literacy is important. All right, couple more. Adaptability. Flexibility in adopting and integrating emerging technologies. Now, this goes back to, I think I said earlier, if you are not the person that is into this whole technology and AI thing, as the PM, it's going to be important that you put yourself in a space to be adaptable. Put yourself in a space to understand, staying updated with AI advancements. If that's taking a class, I mean, you've got Coursera, you have Udemy, you have PMI that have all these new AI courses that are out there. Take them. All right. If you are that person that, and I'm not judging. If you are that person that's like AI shmai, I am not into this. Okay. All right. I get it. But you still need to be adaptable. You need to be flexible in adopting and integrating those technologies, because as we move further off into 2025, as we move further off into 2026, these AI technologies, um, uh, these AI projects are going to become more and more prevalent. AI projects themselves, and then you may have just adopting new technology, and the technology changes frequently. So one of the ways to stay adaptable is to make a point to take classes about AI. Put on your schedule once a week to take a different class about AI, whether you think you're going to use it or not. That's going to help build that flexibility muscle, in my opinion. All right. All right. Last one. Stakeholder engagement. We're making good time. Stakeholder engagement, building and maintaining relationships with stakeholders while addressing their concerns. Um, this is a soft skill that basically, in my opinion, goes beyond AI. You need to have good stakeholder relations, good stakeholder engagement on all in every level. Um, Again, AI tools can help provide insight into stakeholder needs and preferences, but you need to have a personal touch. You need to get to know your stakeholders, those key stakeholders that you know are key to the project. That alpha that you found in the room, who every time they speak, everybody, I'm going to date myself. They're like E.F. Hutton, right? If you don't know who that is, just go Google it, and then you'll see how old it is, and you'll be like, dang, I've dated myself. It's okay. But they are the person that when they speak, everybody listens. You want to develop a level of rapport. You want to manage them properly so that they are well informed, because what they say has sway, right? So you definitely want to make sure that you engage them properly and you build and maintain those relationships with your stakeholders and your team, right? Um, and your team. Okay. All right. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Those were my top 10, not in any particular order. Again, they were collaborative leadership, communication, strategic thinking, problem solving, emotional intelligence, decision making, ethical judgment, data literacy, adaptability, and stakeholder engagement. All right. So let me know in the chat either right now or when if you're watching this live. Hey, thank you for joining me and being with me. Let me know in the chat if there's any other soft skills that you have identified. Would love to hear about it, because this is not an exhaustive list, nor was it again, like in any particular order. It's just something I wanted to bring up and talk about with the team, with the group, and figure out what you guys were thinking. All right. So with that, I'm going to call it. Have a great rest of your evening. I'm going to go ahead and take a break here and prepare for my next call. Happy Friday, Junior. I hope you go into Friday ready to take on the day And I hope you get to your weekend super fast. I hope your day goes by so fast that Friday, the weekend shows up and you're like, I'm good. All right. So, with that, this is Latina, your future focused project manager, signing off. I will see you next time.